Uh, this is actually kind of exciting because it's one of two stories by the same user that I got for this. So later we'll hear another one I'm kind of excited about too. And so it starts off. I work at a county jail. One night I was working in the maximum security unit on the night shift. It was pretty boring with nothing really to do except the checks where I go around and look in each cell every 30 minutes or so to make sure everything was okay. The inmates weren't doing anything they weren't supposed to. It had been about 15 minutes or so since I last checked. I was sitting in the control room reading a book to pass the time. The control room sits higher than floor level and looks out over the cell block. If a person of average height were to walk right by you, you'd only see the top of their head. As I'm reading my book, I see out of my peripheral, top of a bald head walk past the window. I knew that nobody else was in the area, as another officer would have to go through two sets of remote-controlled doors. There's no way past my control room. I looked up and into the cell block. I didn't see anyone. I then looked at the camera monitors, which showed every angle of the cell block. Still nothing. I put my book down and exited the control room, making sure to lock the door behind me in case an inmate got out of their cell. They couldn't lock me out of the control room. It's uncommon, but it is possible. I walked into the cell block, shining my flashlight in some of the more dimly lit areas. I took notice that I did not hear a cell door close, so if an inmate did get out of the cell, they would have either had to close their cell door incredibly quietly, or they were hiding somewhere. I radioed for another officer to respond to my location as backup. I began to conduct a check, make sure to count the inmates in each cell and pull on the door to make sure it was locked. When I reached the upper tier, one of the inmates was standing at the cell window and asked me what time it was. I told him he noticed that I was early on my check. He noticed I had been checking the doors. These guys have nothing to do but to watch you do this, so the inmate asked if I saw the bald-headed guy. He must have seen the expression on my face because he said he was seen by somebody at least once a night, usually passing quickly by the cell windows. So they always knew it was him because there was no bald officers on the night shift. I went back to the control room and locked it behind me. I asked the officer who responded as my backup about the bald-headed guy. He was a very senior officer and said that he had never personally seen him, but it wasn't uncommon for people to report it. I never saw the bald-headed guy again. Eventually I was promoted, and every once in a while, an officer or inmate will ask me about him.
Prisons are scary, man.
Yeah, they're scary without ghosts.
They're scary without ghosts and other paranormal things. You throw that in, that's just terrifying.
Yeah, there's something about like certain places you just immediately have something scary about it.
Yeah,
hospitals for me, and prisons,
nurseries, everything for you. But
wait, that's true.
Going back to the story, and obviously I'm multitasking with people on social media, but you got to assume that it's an inmate at first, right? Like he said he did.
Yeah, and that would be a terrifying thing because he's in the maximum security unit. Yeah, these are dangerous people, and he wouldn't want to deal with that on a midnight shift or something. So that alone is scary.
Well, it does make you think that it's possible that it was an inmate because the inmate was the one that was saying, "Hey, did you see that? Did you see the bald-headed man?" There, it does make it seem like they're setting up something, or I don't know. Either way, it would be be a bit too much.
Think the inmate's messing with him, or?
See, I don't know because the other officer said that they had heard about this before.
And we find out later that it's an inmate escape from a maximum security. Yeah. So I guess I wouldn't have known the bald thing. Obviously, I mean, interesting, scary story. So what made you, like you said, this is a story I want to share today. Like there had to be something that drew you towards it.
Well, it was mostly the prison thing. I saw, I read this story and then I found out he had another one. And it was like two ghost stories from a prison from the same guy. I wanted to do them both because I thought this is great. Prison, like you say, prisons in general are just terrifying. And so, I don't know, something odd. It's not like a jump scare kind of monster story. It's just like something slightly off about already a tense situation that makes the whole thing just feel creepy and kind of terrifying to me. I don't know
where he was located at all here. I'm sure he just kept it anonymous.
he did keep that anonymous. He didn't list anyone's names, just in case, you don't want people's information getting out. So he didn't say where he was from.
Sure called out us bald people going bald, though, didn't he? Man,
My forehead goes all the way back.
all the way back. Just keeps going back.
Well, that
Wow.
delicious orange juice you got there.
Yeah, it's orange juice. Just for the AI out there on social media trying to get me for doing something on a live, it is orange juice. So everybody knows that's the truth.
Jeff Townsend Media. CG, good night.
And the question is, do I stay here? Will you be back? Are you gonna come back? Will you be back? Are you coming back?